Let's get the meeting, Delaware County Regional Wastewater Meeting, January 4, 2023. Penny, will you call the roll, please?
Ray.
Present.
Pete.
Present.
Joe.
Present.
Bill.
Present.
Ron.
Present.
Thank you. First order of business, beginning of the year, is election of officers for 2023. With that, I'll open the floor for nominations.
Are you doing it separately, or are you doing it
However
as
you
a
all-
group?
You want to put it together in one?
I would like to make a motion that we reappoint the standing officers that we had for 2022.
And not only did I get hosed into another office.
I got a first and second. Now go right ahead, Mr. Olson.
No, I got nothing. So.
All right.
That's
Anybody
why I
else
like it.
have any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion approved. Minutes of the previous meeting. Did everybody get a chance to look at them? If so, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Nobody.
Who seconded that?
Ray.
Okay,
I
thanks.
thought it was me seconding.
No. Let's be clear.
I was like,
Now, Pete was out, it was Ray.
Okay.
All right, now we're on the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
First and second there. Was there any changes or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Minutes approved. Pete, treasurer's report, please.
Claims from November 30th, 2022 through December 29th, 2022 totaling $107,626.58. Account balances as of December 28th, 2022. Cash operating balance, $420,000. Improvement fund balance, $2,135,299.79. And we did receive the Daleville tip transfer of $9,411. At this time, I would make the motion to approve the claims in the amount of $107,626.58.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Approved. Moving on, old business, hook-in ordinance 2023-01. Danielle?
I think the hook-in is 2023-02, isn't it?
you told me to change it.
Or did I get confused?
Or do I have
I
just
just
the
didn't-
agenda wrong?
I just had it on the wrong on the agenda. 'Cause
So-
the
so two?
salary is 01, this one's
Yeah,
02.
salary.
Oh,
Okay,
two,
that's what
no
I-
problem.
Okay, so O2, I think the clean copy has gone out that has the pertinent statutory citations actually spelled out so they can see the hook-in requirements, the two exemptions, and then we've got the section in there that clarifies that we may treat a parcel differently if there are two structures that have a different statutory requirement within that same parcel. So I think it's good to go and ready for approval.
So I'm going to ask a question. Why is it 2023 and not 2022? Because we introduced it at the last meeting.
Well, that's a good question.
It is.
And I thought about that when I was looking at it yesterday.
Did we change it? Did we introduce it as 2023-0?
2023.
I think we
it
introduced-
as
As
002.
2023-02.
So we introduced it as 2023-02.
I think we did.
Okay, as long as we introduced it.
Then we're adopting
all
the
right.
same one.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to make sure is from a
Yeah.
standpoint that and I don't think anybody's going to challenge it, but on the same hand,
Right.
I hate for
When I
that.
looked
That
at
we
my
did it the
notes,
right
I was
way.
pretty
Yeah.
sure we did it 2023-02.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that,
But Penny,
Yeah,
you
I
say,
just didn't change it till after you told me.
Yeah, the salary versus the,
Yes.
I
So
think the
in
only
this-
thing we switched was the salary and, but we said them correctly in the meeting.
Yes, we did.
okay,
So we have introduced it properly under 2023-02.
Yes.
got it.
So
Okay.
I need a motion, or we need a motion to adopt
Yes.
2023-02.
I'll make a motion to adopt 2023-02, the hook-in ordinance.
I'll second.
Have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried. Okay. Westbrook?
We have the Westbrook disbursements request for this month. We have one for Atlas for $52,602. Commonwealth's disbursement request for $5,778. We have another Commonwealth disbursement request that's going to go hit the AMP grant for $1,400. And the last, we have Atlas's final retainage release, so that all need approved. Me and Rob have looked over these along with Riley, and this last Atlas request is buttoning up some change order work. Commonwealth is just the normal stuff, as well as the AMP grant release, and we are at probably, I mean, we are close to being completely finished. I think me and Rob spoke today after we have guys in there starting the wet well and valve pit structural concrete work today, and finishing up tomorrow. We'll probably be about $10,000 left of retainage money that we'll have to figure out how we're gonna put towards the project, and we'll be completely buttoned up with everything here.
So the retainage is releasing all of their retainage, and yet they're still doing some work?
Atlas is not.
At,
It's, there's, that we, that money, retainage is retainage. We haven't paid them for the work that's being done right now.
okay. So
Yeah,
we
par-
still have some to get things done.
It'll be a final payout.
Yeah.
Yeah, even part of that 52,000, there'll still be 5% of that still going to be thrown in the retainage as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
There's gonna, we'll be back in the spring, because for all intents and purposes.
And I'm happy to say, even with those two rains of just one being inch plus and the other one being half, I mean, we never saw no spikes in the flow numbers than we would usually get, and I mean, it's holding good for us.
Awesome.
I would move to approve the collective of all four of those pay applications.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved.
Collections update for the month of December of 22. As of today, last month we were sitting at $1,184.26 over the entire collection area. After speaking with David today, we're at $2,041.43. Some of those Rorton customers are just getting the final notices on their door the last 2 days, so that number is expected to drop even more, but it's kind of like this during the holiday season, and we usually get back on track come January. Also, myself, Rob, and Bill, and even Scott was able to come out that day. We had a resident meeting for the customers over on Overlook Drive. We had, out of the 11 houses that this is going to get service to, we had 9 residents show up, or spouses, and everybody was, from conversations, was completely in favor for what we're doing. The other 2 residents, there was one that I think it was the gentleman who just passed, and
Yes.
then there was one that was out of town in Florida, but they were going to get them in contact with us. So really positive over there and for the Overlook Drive project. Commonwealth's done most of their survey work. We were able to get some additional feedback from the residents that night about where some of their discharge lines from the house was coming out and hitting their tank, and also giving them kind of a update about what we would expect from them and where their electrical panels are. And, yeah.
So remind me, are we going with grinder pumps for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's That's back there in the, right
I knew
along the
that. I
river
just couldn't
going off
remember if we were
the edge.
doing a singular lift station or if we were doing grinder.
Lift
pumps
station's
for-
up at the top of Raincrest. This is from Raincrest Drive going back towards the east and north.
They stopped there when they built it.
Yeah.
It's got a big dip, big dip.
Yep.
So, majority of the survey work's been done. We'll still continue to, we were able to get some red line work done with some of these residents coming in, showing us where their electrical panel was and everything like that. And also, Rob made it a point to, if you guys have existing generators on site, we need to know that too. And we had a couple that gave us that heads up as well. So, really positive outcome over there, and with a good showing, just even with the small number of residents that we expected, it was really positive. I think that is all I have for this month. Everything else in the office and out in the field's going normal. I said earlier, Westbrook hitting those couple inches of rain, it's holding up strong, and everything else is going well. Rob did some additional, got out to the lift stations today for the Rorton project, and was going to get some feedback to IDEM on that. So I think everything's going good.
Jason?
Yes.
With the bitter cold we had, that spell, do you have any issues with anything?
No. Luckily enough, our stuff stays warm and it's pretty far underground, and we don't have some of the water line breaks or anything like that. We didn't have any power outages or nothing.
So you didn't even incur overtime during that time?
Just normal. We have normal weekend checks that even on a holiday
Right,
schedule,
yeah,
we send them
but
out.
nothing-
Just nothing outside of the normal. Yeah, really good.
Good. Okay. Ashley, Spotted Monkey, would you like to step up to the podium?
If you have any questions on like the analytics or anything, let me know. We did stop the analytics a little soon on Google to make sure we got the report in, but you had 128 like profile interactions on Google, 42 phone calls made, so they're searching for you and they click right there and they're able to make that phone call, and 153 website clicks. We've added more to the YouTube channel, and you can see the different views that we are receiving there. We did send out 2 emails in December, one to let people know about the meeting with Overlook Drive, and then also your monthly email where we send the board meeting and any type of updates and remind people of their due dates. I think those are going over pretty well. I mean, you had almost like over a 50% open rate, which is pretty strong with your 1,400 that were delivered. The exciting news is that after Danielle's attempt again, because we were not getting, even though I had a scheduled time to meet with the lady who had the domain, she still did not answer my call. And then she was doing things and calling the office and bugging Davey rather than responding to myself. So Danielle sent her another email and she responded again right away. So we were able to get access to the domain. You now have your own GoDaddy account so that you guys will always have access. It doesn't have to be in the hands of somebody else. That's where your domain lives. And then we were able to publish the new website on December 27th. So that website is now live. I encourage you to take a look because we all use different phones and different devices. And so we tested on some different options, but I encourage you to take a look so you can let me know if, you know, a graphic doesn't come across correctly on a mobile phone or if you're using an iPad. That just helps us. We've added all of the written up articles about like Oakville and Royerton to that new website. There's a contact form, there's an FAQ page, so there's a lot more to the new website than that was on the previous site. So that was the big exciting news, was that we have the domain and the new website is live. So, any questions or?
Anybody gone back and introduced themselves to Jason any more than they were last month?
Felt the 0 number.
Yeah, I think we were at like 4.
Anything else?
No questions? Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Commonwealth, Rob, Thomas, you guys, whoever?
Most of my stuff's already been touched.
Westbrook's getting wrapped up. Jason went through that with everybody. We'll have $8,000 or $9,000 left over. We'll have to figure out how to spend it by chart recorder. We'll figure something out. Assembly of the sewer preliminary engineering report from Gaston to Westdale. It's probably 75% complete. Oakville's lagging behind that a little bit. I'd say we're probably 50% on that one. Just as a reminder, these are being set up under guidance from prior discussions with SRF. So on the Westdale report, it's going to be drafted and assembled identifying a phase 1 and a phase 2 component. Phase 1 is getting them off their treatment plan and connected to the town. Phase 2 then talks about expanding out to the interstate. All right, we're going to, once the report is done and accepted by this board, we'll submit phase 1 to SRF for funding consideration. Once that gets funded and we're off and rolling, then this board can make the determination on whether or not they would like to pursue phase 2 via another agency. Oakville, it's all one phase. It's going to go to SRF upon completion. Over the holiday break, I did connect with Jennifer over at Crow, so she could have a better understanding of what's been going on behind the scenes, because I know she's been contacted to reach out to various communities, rate consultants, and start introducing Crow on behalf of the district and exchanging information. So I thought it best to reach out to her and kind of paint the picture a little clearer so she understood what was actually going on, who was a customer of who, and how this was all playing out. She's up to speed now. She sent a follow-up email out to Jason and Danielle after the fact. I don't know if that was circulated to the board. But long story short, we discussed the schedule for these current PERs that are under assembly, primarily with the March 31st, 2023 deadline of getting both submitted to SRF. There's no more brownie points if you're April 1st versus May 1st with those guys. It's get it in by the end of March if you want to get considered on the first quarter PPL when they publish it in July. So that's been our schedule all along. We remain on schedule for that. What does that mean, big picture? Well, come July 1st or thereabouts, SRF will release their list of projects for fiscal year 2023 that they want to fund. Our expectation is both of these will be on there for a variety of reasons, regionalization being one of them, unsewered areas, yada, 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 right? Once that happens, on or around August of this year, we'll have to get together and collectively decide when we think we'll be in a position to close, because SRF will want to know what quarter we think we're going to close. Danielle, Jennifer, this is where they're really going to start getting into weeds on the interlocal stuff and rates for these new customers. We'll be running designs concurrent to that. So we're wrapping up planning now, but come midsummer, things are going to really transition pretty quickly into actual implementation of these projects.
So Westdale has never had a rate, and anybody that would hook up along there would have never had a rate. So they have no expectation. Is there an expectation in Springport that they'll have to have a rate increase? And is that board aware of that?
Well, I don't know that they would have a rate increase,
Okay, so-
because we're connecting to them. So Oakville is going to become a customer of Delaware County Regional Wastewater, and anybody that connects between Oakville and Springport connects to your line would then be your customer. But the agreements worked out with Springport and subsequently the other regional sewer district is kind of sort of similar to what you have with Yorktown and Chesterfield, because they're providing treatment.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an expectation because they've never had,
They've never paid rates before.
Well-
And that's what I guess I'm ultimately.
The unsewered areas haven't paid rates. Springport's got sewers, and they're paying their own rates now. There's dynamics with that community that
Right.
could change, but right now, they have their own sewer bill.
Yeah, and we're not going to affect that sewer bill.
Correct.
They're going to charge us
Yeah.
for the Oakville treatment, and so it'll be the folks in Oakville that
Have a bill.
have a bill.
That's what needs to be determined.
Okay,
Is it
okay.
going to be consistent with everybody else in your rate structure? Does it need to be adjusted? Those are things that Crow's going to start
Right,
working through.
right. What I was driving at, and it sounds like I was worried about nothing, is somebody was gonna have to change their rate. We're gonna enter into a memorandum of understanding. I don't want them.
Like for Gaston, they're providing contract treatment services to you
similar.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay?
So,
They're not
okay.
going to have a rate increase.
Okay.
They've made that very clear. You're going to take ownership of the sewer infrastructure.
Right, right, just like.
Because
we
it
do.
benefits you guys. But you're going to have a treatment agreement with the town.
Just making sure I was clear. Thank you.
Uh-huh. I think that's all I had. Did I get into the weeds enough, Danielle, on the schedule?
yeah, I'm going to send out that email that Jennifer just sent so that everybody can take a look. And it's, it's just guidance right now. It's always subject to change, but just to get an idea, the dates changed again with our ARP money. So where we did have to start using the money or start construction by December 31st, it's now December 31st of 24, where it was 23, and then construction completed by 26. So at first I freaked out when I saw their draft because I thought, no, that puts us in jeopardy of losing our money, and now we're completely well within our limits of time of completing the project. So I'll forward Jennifer's email we just got so that everybody can take a look at that, and we've got plenty of wiggle room in there. So I just wanted to loosely touch on it, because then when I get a chance to talk, which apparently I've been bumped to the bottom of the list today.
That was coming. I
uh-huh.
knew that was
So when I
I
get a
wondered
chance
why I
to
was
talk,
going early.
I wanted to give everyone an idea of why I was doing the memorandum of understanding. I'm doing that backwards. I was going to talk about the memorandum, then he could talk about that, but it's-
Beater. What can I say?
That was a good door opener. Have at it.
Take the floor.
That's all I have.
Take the floor, Danielle.
So, Madam Attorney,
Thank you.
do we need to sign said memorandums of understanding?
yeah, we'll make did you guys let me know when
It's your turn.
can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start with those then. So because we are premature to start talking about a treatment contract, I've kind of been on Jennifer. I want her to start being in contact with their rate consultants. I want her to start getting a little involved in these projects, because I don't want the ball to get dropped, because even though we've got some time, those 2 years will go a lot quicker than
Yes.
we think they'll go. And so I've kind of been hassling her a little bit to get started on this. But in the meantime, we've got a lot of money sitting on the lines between Oakville and Westell. And so Bill and I talked, and doing a memorandum of understanding kind of gets everybody on paper to say, hey, look, we're all on the same page. The ARP money is going towards these projects. We're just not quite at the point where we can have any kind of finalization as to terms for any long-term agreement yet. But here's what we're doing. Here's the project outline. So that's why we did these. So once everyone goes through this, and if you guys aren't ready to, I know it's only one page, but I just worked on these this week after getting Jennifer's information, after she talked with Rob. So it basically just outlines on Westell that Westell has a treatment plant or a treatment facility that they use. That's going to be abandoned. We are going to be running lines from Westell. We will be responsible for those lines to Gaston. Gaston has agreed to treat. So Gaston's going to sign off. Westell's responsible from the school getting it out to us, and then us up to Gaston. Westdale's going to sign off. So there will be the 500,000 from the ARP money. The redevelopment commission has pledged 288,500 from the Morrison Road TIF. We've already put 20,000 towards the PER for Commonwealth, so that's already been put down from the ARP money. I put just a few of the main deadlines in there, and I used approximate because some of these will change. The PER has to be done by, or submitted to IDEM by March 31st, but we've got approximate bids by January of next year, approximate closing around March of next year. At the December of 24 and the completion, December of 26, those as of right now are firm deadlines for our ARP money. But that's all this really says, is that everybody's on the same page, that this is the project. So if you guys are comfortable signing off on that, I just put a line for our president, Gaston's president, and Westdale's superintendent. Oakville's likewise is just saying that we are going to put in a main in Oakville. It's going to go east out to Prairie, is that Prairie?
Prairie Road.
Prairie Road,
yeah.
thanks. Was it this one? It's not that one. I've got it almost memorized. South on Prairie Road, and then it will go west in on Main Street into Springport. So we may pick up Prairie Chase,
Prairie Heights.
Prairie Heights,
Getting close.
possibly something else in there. We don't really know. We're kind of leaving it open. So I just put the roads in there because there may be some other connections. We don't know for sure. But essentially, we're coming in Oakville, going south, coming in and hooking into the main in Springport. So technically, Springport's not going to be our customers. That's just going to be our connection point. Their flow is then sent down to Mount Summit, which is treated by Summit Springs Regional
Wastewater.
Waste District or
Yep.
something.
There you go.
Another regional system.
Another
Yep.
regional system. Because of how convoluted it becomes with all these mounts and summits, and none of us can ever say the names right, and because this is a little bit more intricate once we get into having to do an agreement with them, I felt it was most appropriate just to have an agreement to be able to connect our flow into Springport and have this memorandum with Springport. So I've sent off the draft to Springport's contact that Mr. Ullery, I think is how you say it, that Jason has been in contact with. And I put a line in there for Springport that essentially the project is us getting those lines from Oakville down to Springport and them allowing us to have access to get our lines hooked into them. And that they are ensuring that Mount Summit is allowing us to feed that flow down in there, and that Summit Springs is allowing us to treat that additional flow through them. But that essentially they're taking care of that portion of ensuring that that's taken care of. Now, we'll have a formal agreement once, and Jennifer is working on getting in contact with that person too. She doesn't have current updated information, so Commonwealth is assisting us in trying to figure out who their current rate consultant even is, or if he's alive still. So we're working on that. It's a whole nother issue. But essentially, that's what these two memorandums are. Just so, since we have so much ARP money on the line, we wanted something in place, just a little bit of protection for us.
This is a 50,000-foot view from up above. I just wanted something out there that everybody understood where we were going. We're a ways from getting there, but we're all headed in the same direction. We all understand we're headed in the same direction. I worked with Rob. He's done well with Kyle out at Westdale. Getting them, they paid for the PER on the water going all the way out. That is none of us or on the commissioners, totally separate. So everybody's responsibilities and obligations have been outlined up to this point. Like she said, the final documents still take some work, negotiations with Springport on what they'll charge us, and then going to Mount Summit. I've asked Rob, we'll start with Jason, we will start taking more time with the Springport and Mount Summit people as this moves forward and getting involved in that as well. To go back, not to get off of the memorandums, but to go back on the Westdale, just so you understand, when Rob was saying there's a phase 1 and phase 2 that's being designed in this right now, don't get don't worry about the phase two. The phase two is down the road. When I said there's so much money on the table, the commissioners have always looked at going this way. We don't know if we'll be able to do it, if we'll be able to help, or if they will be able to do something. It's just something that we'll all have in place just in case that door opens up, we're ready to go and possibly grab some more funding. So we'll deal with that. The first obligation is to get from Westdale, get that shut down, get it to Gaston, and seal that up before we ever think about 28.
Not relative to the memorandums, but my understanding is Westdale will be responsible for removing their current treatment plant. That will not be a cost that is borne by the district, correct?
They'll probably look.
I would think they would try to include as much as they could in there. With the memorandum of understanding, the obligation is with us. Our $500,000 is it. Anything above and beyond that is the responsibility of Westdale School Corporation.
It makes sense.
Yes.
So it can be part of
They're
the,
going to have a component. Not going money from the county. Always been an understanding.
yeah, would have,
I have to have some.
In
How much that is, but that-
in the meeting with Kyle and Rob, when we said, and Katina, that was discussed, and Kyle made it quite clear, I think, to all of us that between the elementary and the high school, he could more than cover the additional cost and was not worried, and the board was 100% ready to move forward with the abandonment of that treatment facility, that all of it, and anything above our $500,000.
Yeah.
We've had, because we, as a part of our effort, we went out and met with. They've got some other needs. They've got on-site sewers. They recognize.
Okay.
So they recognize themselves they need to address, and yes, they're gonna have to. I expect there's gonna be they're gonna be responsible.
And I've got in here that we are contributing the ARP funds and any additional costs outside of their forgiveness from grant money or these two sources is the expense of Westdale. I think we need two separate motions if you guys are okay with signing off on this, and we may do a motion that gives Bill the leeway to, if they come back with some minor changes, to approve those minor changes.
Well, let's
If there's
take-
something drastic, we can bring it back next month and go over it if I think it's something we need to talk about, but if it's something minor that's not.
What would be minor? $1 or?
Well, the dollars won't change.
Dollars
right,
shouldn't.
Because
the
that's
money
already
can't-
set
That's
up.
why I
Yeah.
said it
I don't
would have
see-
to be something.
On the dates or
Yeah,
something?
Yeah, it could be
like
date or
that.
language, but yeah, because the dollar amounts will not
That's-
change. Those are the approved by council. They're not going to change on our end.
I'm thinking language. Attorneys like to feel like they've touched documents, is my experience,
Just don't.
So,
especially Pete's attorneys.
as the attorney.
I seen the look in his eyes.
to make a motion to approve these, do you need the motion to include that Bill has the leeway to? And
I think that's appropriate. That's what I would like to see, so that I can work with him if we've got some
with your
minor language
guidance,
changes.
then,
Yeah.
yes.
Was that a motion?
Was that a
Was
motion?
that a motion, Joe?
I will make you said you needed two motions. I will make a motion for the memorandum of understanding for the Town of Springport understanding, and along with that motion, that Bill, along with Danielle's guidance, can make any minor adjustments as necessary for this without the board's approval.
I have a first and a second. Is there any discussion on the Oakville Springport memorandum? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Motion carried. Now you've got the other one, Westdale.
I'll make the same motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding for the Westdale Community School Corporation and that Bill, as board president, has, with Daniel's guidance, has the leeway to approve any minor changes to the agreement.
First and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approved. Okay, Danielle, what else you got?
Oh, good. So, you mean attorney-wise?
Well, like, I can make sure that on the agenda, the one.
So Aubrey Christ represents Westell. Their office also represents Gaston, so I thought it was easiest if I communicated with her, just sent two birds, one stone. So I sent her.
Their
a-
attorney hasn't attended one of their meetings.
Yeah, well, I sent her a draft yesterday to just try to get the ball rolling to see if she had any comments or questions. I also don't know if she even knows about the project, given that Bill retired. And I gave her a synopsis in my email, hoping if she needed to ask any questions, she could reach out, but she hasn't responded yet, so,
Would you like me to
great.
kind of agree?
Yep, and I did say something to Audra, just so I figured she would probably mention something as well, just to get the conversation going. Okay. I sent our request off to the redevelopment commission to get our money for this year's TIF for Delville, our $112,000 for the year, so I am way ahead of the game this year on that, so you're welcome. The debacle with the judgment that Mark Gabriel got on the house on 26th Street or whatever, we have released that property, so that has been taken care of. I sent everyone the comments from MSD. Talked to Bill and Jason. They made the comment in their responses that they did not have our flow information from 19 through 21, and that's why they didn't use those numbers, which would be impossible because they've been billing us for the last 3 years, which puts us at a bit of a standstill. And I think it to keep the ball moving, Jason is going to send an email to Barlow to say, got this information, but
Quit
are
dragging your
you
feet.
going to use that and calculate, or what do you need from us, or what's going on? But at the same time, I think they've got that, so we might be in a position for our committee to go ahead and try to reschedule something to sit back down with them, because I think their number was, their new rate would get them down to a 328. I think Jennifer still was at a 211, but it might be time to come back to the table and have a conversation. I think there's been enough time, and there's quite a bit of stuff that they said they're willing to talk to us about and move on. So I was gonna go ahead and circulate an email to their attorney to say, let's start looking at dates and timeframes, and
Let's make it in January as soon as possible.
I'm ready to go. It's,
I mean, I don't care if it's next week.
I think we're ready to go. We need to move to the table. Jason, send the email to John on the flow today, tomorrow at the latest, please. And then we schedule a meeting, like you
I'll
said,
send it
here
to you
in the
January
next 2 weeks. Would be nice, by the end of January, if we can, if they're open to it. And let's sit down and
I don't
start.
want to wait till February personally. I want to get it
I've
done
got
in
a
January.
week, just in advance, I've got a week. I can't tell you I'm out. I'll be gone the entire week.
I'm gonna-
16th through the 20th, the SHOT Show. I've got that, so I'll be out of town.
We should be able to find a date.
15th through 20th
Yeah, I'm out that entire week, that week.
in January.
Yes, that's the only
And
time.
I'm out of town from the 26th to that Sunday, Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
I gotta go to Philadelphia.
Feels like next week's really good.
Tomorrow?
You know what?
Wanna do tomorrow? I'm sure they're available.
We put this off long enough because they put it off the last
Yeah,
time,
it's-
so,
It's time to move forward.
2 times.
right. So
Okay.
Let's move forward.
before we get into more holidays.
26th through the what, did you say, Joe?
30th.
It's just a Thursday through a Sunday, so
Oh, 29th. Okay. Okay,
I can't beat it all.
I will work on that. We also sent
Yeah.
an email to Amy Romig. She was going to look into some stuff for us the last time she came, and we're just waiting on a response from her. I have not heard back. Sometimes it takes a second jolt to get a response. So we will follow up here. I'll give her a couple more days, and then we'll send a follow-up email to Amy to get some more information and see what she's found out on the item side that she was working on. Private domain. What's up?
Sure.
Thanks for letting me share.
Any update on that shell building? You'd probably know where we're at on that thing, where we said we'd participate in it.
They're still working, yeah, Delville, sorry, had to get, switch back all the way around. Yes, no, it's moving forward. There's conversation, we're looking at other avenues in there, but no, as far as I know, everything's moving forward. United, I don't know
We
what's,
had a Zoom conference we could review the plans that were submitted, along with, they talked about some other infrastructure needs, and but he gave us a chance to review what they had presented, and everything looks great on our side. It's biggest thing is we're not crossing any water lines. They are going to have to bring in an 8-inch sewer line underneath the pond, but that's nothing abnormal. We got plenty of that stuff going on. But the proposed route that they had, what they're showing us, is actually better for us than what the Plan B would have been. It's a little bit more difficult for the water side, but for sanitary side, it's going to be easier for us.
there you go.
That's something good.
We ended up on the right side of the coin that time.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Anything else? Does board got any other comments, concerns, questions?
There's a new face
new
sitting over
member.
there.
I know, I was gonna get to him. I'd like to welcome Josh Talby. He is the new appointment from the commissioners. Josh, welcome to your first meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thank you all.
Thanks for,
Say
it's
that
good to
now.
have you. Does anybody anybody else have any other comments, concerns? Okay. I would so entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be.
There's my first, where's the second?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.